And I don't know how I came up with the parts.
You were the Mr. Rogers of the Crossroads community. Can you relate any funny stories about some of the characters that lived out there?
Well, Ethel was the main one, her and the cowbells, that she hated cowbells, but she was a very, very colorful lady. That,
What was her last name?
Graham, Ethel Graham. And she worked really, really hard, and she liked to help all the kids in the community, that different things. And
I noticed you have some notes written down.
well, I was wrote down some of the families that had lived there, and some of their descendants are still there. And
What names do you have written down?
well, I have the Smiths and the Wrights, the Grahams, the McAdoos, and Phillips, Stanley and Johnsons, Cash, Dugans, Beatty, Wise, Honeycutt, Harris, Pins, Buckaloos, Burks, Bruce, Spears, Benton, Cliffs, and Roberts.
The Penns have a very distinguished great grandson.
Mm-hmm.
He's a full general in the Army now. You heard of General Penn, I suppose. He's been in the news.
So he was from the
He was-
Crossroads
Oh, okay.
community.
Yeah.
He grew up out there.
In fact, his daddy helped me when the freeway went through there. I had to move the house that we owned. His daddy helped me with the foundation, digging a foundation to put the new house, put the old house on when we moved it.
Were there a lot of people displaced when the freeway went through there?
Not a whole lot. They took a little part of my property, and they missed most of the houses in that very community. But some of them, a few of them might have been displaced, but I can't recall any.
I don't know of any that were. I guess our house was the closest that the highway got to anybody's house, as far as having to move it.
I know when they took the red clay dirt from a hill, it's about 1/10 of a mile from our house. And when they got through, there was just this big pit with a real steep, one side was real steep. It was perfect for sliding down after it would rain.
Yeah.
And we got our little heinies torn up more than once for
I
that.
can imagine.
Because you get that red clay in your clothes and it will not come out.
But wasn't it fun?
Oh, it was a ball. We'd sneak off down there all the time.
Well, tell them about the time that your dad bought the bulls, the cows, the oxen.
Oxen. Okay, I don't know exactly what year this was, but when we actually moved back to the old place there, this was during the Depression years. Of course, he didn't have any livestock, and I don't know how he came up with the money. Was very scarce. How he came up with the money to buy these steers. They was white-faced Herefords. Him and another man in the community, Jim Graham, bought a pair. Each one of them bought a pair. And I don't really know how they got them home. They bought them from a fellow over on the North Fork of the Saline River. But anyway, they broke the steers to work, and that's how he, for a year or so, there's how he farmed with those steers. And the interesting thing about Mr. Graham, he raised bees and made honey. Well, he had the bees hives over on what we call the old Phillips place, which is adjoining ours, but it's about a quarter of a mile or so. And Mr. Graham lived up closer to the church, where the church is now at that time. And he took the steers and he went over there with a wagon to move his beehives back home. or to another location. And there was a little gravel road between our house and the main road up there where the school bus run. And it was kind of awful rocky, and one of those beehives turned over. Of course, they had a big runaway, and Mr. Graham got bad stung with the bees, and that was one of the things I remember about the oxen. Of course, Dad could use his. He used his to log with and to farm with. And he also drove them from back from West Memphis during the Cotton Festival, when they had the Cotton Festival in Benton in 19...
Cotton Festivals in
Little Rock, yeah, Little Rock, 1936, I think. I don't know how they came to ask him, but they shipped the steers over there with train, and then he drove them back. They had a covered up wagon, and another fellow with him, acting as a kind of Indian scout, and they had a big sign on it that said Cotton Festival or bust, and they drove. Took, I don't know how long, maybe a couple of weeks to drive them back from West Memphis over to Little Rock.
And tell him about the money, how much money he had.
Oh, he got $100, I think it was, for driving those steers, and we thought he was rich.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then after that, they got on this farm program, and that they had during that time, government had, and he got horses, and we farmed in with horses and mules.
Okay. Do you have any other stories you'd like to relate?
I can't think of anything right now, can you? I think that's all the notes that I had.
Of course, we rode an old school bus to school. And of course, in the wintertime, when it was bad to get stuck, or when the roads had a big rain, didn't have, some had some low water bridges and stuff, it's bad to get flooded out and stuff like that. I remember.
Did the bus break down very often?
No, I don't. I recall it breaking down very often, but just getting stuck and being late for the creek being up and stuff.
Did you get to leave school early on some days if the weather was going to be bad? And
I don't recall having to leave school early.
well, this has been very interesting. I hope our viewers have learned something about the Crossroads community, and want to thank you too for taking the time to visit with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.